Hey guys, LordWolf99 back again with another video, and today we are back with a Brainless Believers episode just for you guys. This is future me editing and recording over the top of what I did say in the video, but it's been like 8 months since we recorded one of these, and I hope you guys enjoy. It's crazy. But back to past me and Adam.
Jesus, that long?
Something like that, yeah. It has been a
Wow.
very long time. So, just introductions out the way and everything like that. We do have some footage for you guys to watch if you're into that of Lawn Mowing Simulator, but that is not the topic of this video. Just so that you're aware.
Do you know what I've realised is we picked singing because we said that we can't like stream or whatever, but I have got no pictures for this. But
Great.
But you can enjoy the.
Well, luckily, guys, editing me is here, and I do have some pictures, not from this direct story, but pictures nonetheless. Enjoy!
It'll be the nice calming effect, a nice juxtaposition of what's going on.
Yeah, literally. I mean, let me see if I can turn the audio down. The lawnmower is pretty loud.
A few moments later.
Oh, that's miles better. We can barely hear it now. Yeah, it is. I don't know if any of you actually recall, guys, but we've been taking it in turns with this series. This is only our third video, but we are taking it in turns with stories that we found, and this time it is Adam's turn. So I will let you take it away, and I will just pipe in with the odd bit of commentary.
Yeah, well, so it's actually very difficult to find scary stories online that A, are interesting, B, are grounded in any realism whatsoever, and C, something that hasn't already been talked about a billion times. Because when we made this series, we both discussed like what we want to talk about, and we didn't just want to regurgitate the same stories that have been told a million times before. Oh, there's a guy called Slender Man in a, all that stuff that we know, because that stuff is boring, right? So I kind of was having a look on loads of different websites, and Reddit is a good place to go. However, there is a lot of fictional stuff on Reddit. But what Reddit has recently done is kind of like organized like the fake stories, so like the creepypasta stuffs, and like the real stories, like the real accounts of people, and there's a lot less interesting stories on there because they're real. It's not just made up shit. It could still be made up shit, but these are all at least grounded in some realism.
Yeah.
And I came across one called New House, and I was just reading it, and I actually, from the first kind of couple of sentences, I was like, actually, this is something I can get on board with.
Right.
It sounded like the language that this person uses. I was like, oh yeah, all right, kind of this sounds decent. So yeah, New House. So I'll just take it away.
I mean, straight away saying New House, it's kind of like the opening of every bad horror movie ever. It's such a cliche, but I'm interested to see what this person has come up with or experienced, if it is true.
So, instantly, when I got this first sentence, the reason why it stood out to me is because I was like, yeah, this is me, right?
Right.
It says, this is the first sentence, right? I've always kind of been interested in horror stuff, although I'm a pussy when it comes to actually doing anything. I'm more of the watch spooky stories on YouTube kind of guy. Yep,
that sounds about accurate. Are you sure you haven't wrote this?
I mean, this is what I mean. It feels like something, So yeah, so it says, New House, right? I've always kind of been interested in horror stuff, although I'm a pussy when it comes to actually doing anything. I'm more of the watch spooky stories on YouTube kind of guy. I also believe that most of the horror stories you see online are bullshit. And you might think this about mine, but hey, I can't do anything about that apart from tell you this is exactly what happened. So in October time of 2013, when I was pretty young, maybe like 12 or so, We moved into a new house that had only been built for about 10 years before we moved in, and it was a really nice area, and it was a massive upgrade on the shit house we moved from. My mom got a new boyfriend, and I'd been together for like a year, so that's how we managed to afford it, I'm guessing.
Hang on. Are you sure you found this on Reddit? This sounds a bit like your life, does it not?
What do you mean?
didn't you move into a nicer house around that age? On Carewood?
I moved in 2010, and mine was a brand new house.
Okay.
It wasn't 10-year-olds. Come on, specificity.
just apart from that, it sounds very similar to your life at the moment.
Yeah, it does. But this is why it stood out to me, because I was like, this sounds,
relatable.
Like literally, like if me or you wrote something, this would be, Also, he says the word "mom," which I'd never.
Yeah, that's very fucking cringy, especially if he's fucking English, like.
Yeah. So everything was fine in the house. The neighbours in the area was cool. There were a few people my age that lived down my street too. So after a couple of months of living there, as you do, you just find yourself hanging out with them. After like a year living there, my parents left me like 14. What? My parents left me. I'm guessing he was 14.
Right. Okay.
They left me, and I was home alone for the week whilst I went somewhere in Greece. My grandma lived about 10 minutes away, so she would pop in every day. I
was going to say, this is very similar to your life.
Right. So after living there for a year, my parents left.
She bought me energy drinks and gave me money.
No, trust me, there is a mention of energy drinks.
Oh, Christ.
All right. My grandma lived about 10 minutes away, so she would pop in every day and take care of me if I needed anything. But mostly, I was drinking Monster and playing games all night on my PS3.
See, if you hadn't said PS3, it would be you to a T, because you were still on Xbox back then.
Yeah, it was, yeah. I thought it would be cool to have a party and have my friends round over to stay over. So I asked my grandma, and she said it was fine with her as long as I didn't make too much of a mess. And my parents didn't even know I was going to have a party, as I didn't ring them, and my grandma's phone service wouldn't allow her to make international calls. Brilliant. So my friends came over, and we do the basic guy stuff of looking at girls on Facebook and play daft games like who would and play daft girls and play daft games like who would have sex with who and who would kill and all that stuff. And we also had a few alcoholic drinks that my mate brought over from his house. I do remember one thing from this night. I do remember one thing from this night, and that was how bad the beer was. It was Budweiser, and it was honestly awful. But there was enough cans for 2 each, which got me a little tipsy. I'd never been a drinker, so this was kind of my first experience with it. Fair enough. I mean, Budweiser is a terrible drink, and is not a drink that I'd recommend for anybody who is getting into drinking for the first time. Like, if we've got... I mean, first of all, like, I've like, lost thingy of how old this guy is now, but...
Is it 13,
like,
14?
At this age, I think like 14, 14-ish. I think at this age, probably I was drinking like WKDs and Smirnoff Ices. I certainly wasn't drinking beer, like Budweiser. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So it gets to about 1 o'clock in 1 o'clock in the morning, and my mate pulls out of his bag a Ouija board.
Me again. I'm in love with my background, so I just want to keep recording. Just for reference, this is a Ouija board for all you people who live under a rock. Back to the story. Great. Yeah, this is definitely not you. You're too much of a pussy to do one. You won't even do one with me.
He joked before about bringing it, but I didn't actually think he owned one. And here it is. This is what I like. It's just like it's ... So it goes. He joked about bringing it, but I didn't actually think he owned one. ... Here it is in my living room.
I'm going to do that to you, actually. That's the perfect way to get you to do one with me.
Yeah. So we all laughed about it and told like scary stories about like things that have happened to do with it. And we agreed to do it, apart from one guy who pleaded with us not to play it until he went to sleep. Ethan. About 40 minutes or so later, we really wanted to do it, so he said that he would go upstairs and call it a night. And that left me and my two other friends to do the Ouija board. Nothing happened. ... for a long, long time. Even to the point that I started moving it and then claimed my innocence.
Oh my god, I'm not on camera this time. More pictures for reference, I guess. Just go with it, guys. Just go with it, okay? I'm trying to make the video interesting.
I spelt things out like Jake, who was one of my friends. It started spooking people out, and even me a little bit, even though I was the one moving it. After a while, I stopped moving it and it went back to nothing again. About 15 minutes later, it started moving, and I just assumed, as you would, that it was one of us. It spelt out weird, incoherent things, and then it spelt out knife.
Great.
And it was all baffled. And then went back to more incoherent things that none of us knew, and then it spelt Melanie.
Ooh. Hard luck, Melanie.
Well, as far as I knew, none of us knew a Melanie. This was when my anxious self thought that we need to put the game away. So we did. And we said goodbye and all that cliche dumb shit that you're meant to do before ending the game. Smart people.
Yeah, so far. I claim no negative energy from this. All the fucking dumb fucks in the comments of popular videos.
Yeah. So this is, I think we're about the midpoint now, right?
Right.
What do you think is your predictions of what's going on, and like, you know, what?
I reckon some shit's gonna happen, and
I mean, I should
claim...
hope so. If that's the end of the story.
Well, no, I mean, I reckon some bullshit's gonna happen, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, it's a demon or a poltergeist or some shit." When really it's his grandma coming home and she's left her fucking false teeth at the bottom of the stairs.
Vibrator.
Yeah. Ooh, cheeky. And just for good measure. I hope these random cuts are keeping you guys entertained in between Lawnmower Simulator over the story.
Yeah. So
just
the rest of the night,
grandma's geriatric fucking broken hip
God,
played
can you
up.
imagine a schizophrenic?
Yeah.
So the rest of the night, we played more games. We ate pizzas and kebabs, and then put a film on. White Chicks, I'm pretty sure it was. So
Great.
far,
good film.
This seems like a party I want to be at. White Chicks, kebabs, and Budweiser. It's the Budweiser, yeah.
Can't go wrong.
We all fell asleep whilst watching the film, and in the morning, about 9 or 10, my grandma came over, basically woke us all up. We didn't tell her anything about what happened. She did the stuff like, did we have a good night, and packed some of the food away. Around dinner, my mates left. I must admit, I was a little spooked later on in the day when my grandma left, and I was home alone, because I kept thinking, well, what if it wasn't them? I carried on doing my thing and playing on PlayStation till stupid hours in the morning. I went to the toilet and noticed that the kitchen light was off. I thought for a second that this was odd, as when I'm home alone, I used to always leave a light on downstairs, just so that there is some light, but also to make it look like somebody's down there, just in case anybody looked in from the outside. And then in brackets, sounds odd, I know, but yes, that's just me.
That's what we all do, though, isn't it?
Yeah. If we're being honest, yeah. But there wasn't a light on. So I went downstairs and I turned the light on downstairs and went back up to my room. Right? And this was where I was thinking, when I was reading it, I was thinking, he's going to go to bed, he's going to hear a noise, and then and the light's going to be off again. Do you know what I mean? I was thinking, like, that's going to be... But no. Nothing happened the rest of the night. There we go.
Good.
Nothing happened the rest of the night or the night after. But the one after that was weird. I was loading up the game, and I had my laptop, and I put YouTube on, and I heard a bit of knocking on my back door. It was like 11 at night, so I absolutely shit myself.
Is it weird that I'm actually picturing your house whilst reading this?
Oh my god. Please don't. I claim no negative energy.
Fucking hell.
So I absolutely shit myself.
Mm.
I looked around the room to find whatever I felt could be used as a weapon, which was a cricket bat, and I waited for a while. I didn't hear anything else. It wasn't for like 5 minutes of me in my room until I heard my neighbours open a window, and for some reason the thought of my neighbours being awake gave me some comfort, which also like is very true to I don't know whether it's like with you, but you know, like when you start getting a bit scared of something, but then you hear like a car go by, or you I don't know, you hear humanity, all of a sudden it's like
now I get even more scared. Like, fucking hell, people. Oh, Christ.
For the rest of the night, I was on edge. I had my YouTube open on my laptop and tried to fall asleep whilst watching something. There was the odd moment where I felt like I heard something, but that was probably just in my head. And then there was one time I could have sworn I heard something run down the stairs, but again, it was probably in my head. Safe to say, I was relieved when my parents got back home. I didn't tell them anything about what happened, and I didn't even think of the event.
Right, I'm just going to pause you there.
Mm-hmm.
Just for a brief moment. I picked a really bad time to start this video. My headset is dying.
Oh, God.
It's okay, I've got another headset on standby. I'm hoping it won't interrupt.
I'll just keep on speaking whilst you sort out the technical aspect of that.
You do that.
I won't tell the story, but I will discuss what we've already learned.
Great.
And try and avoid the noises that thingy. So, so far the reason why I picked this, oh my god, I can hear an echo. It's because like Tommy says, the language that is being used, it kind of seems like normal, right? It doesn't seem as cliched as what normally you'd hear, like, oh, you know, this happened, then this, and then I saw a figure in my room, all that kind of nonsense.
Right, here's hoping I'm still coming through on my new headset. If not,
okay.
Adam's just taking the rest of the video.
Yeah.
Well, editing Tom here. Great news. You are genius.
My parents got home. I didn't tell them anything. Blah 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 blah. Right.
Right.
It wasn't for about 10 months to a year later, when my mum was speaking to a neighbour whilst we was pulling out of our driveway. I was sat in the car, and they were talking about how somebody had been sentenced in court for murder.
Great.
I asked my mum what she was talking about, and she said that a guy had been sentenced for murder for killing a person in our next door neighbour's house. Ooh.
Oh, fuck off. Because now it's bullshit. Because now it's just going to be like, it was the guy running up the stairs. I could have died. Like, no, fuck off.
No, right.
You would have been killed then.
The fact that somebody had died in the house next to me freaked me the fuck out. Greta. Greta.
Fucking Greta of all people.
Who was another neighbour of ours. This is worded phrased weirdly. Greta, who was another neighbour of ours, who all the kids got on with. We all liked her, but she was a bit of a know-it-all and liked to be in everyone's business. She was telling me and one of my friends about how this woman on the night of the killing got stabbed.
Great.
And ran out of the back garden of the house and knocked on my door. Nobody answered. And then she ran to Greta's house, and Greta let her in. Right. So I'm assuming that. Well,
she made some of the noises banging on the door.
But like, I'm assuming it wasn't actually, like, it was her spirit, right?
Sure. Let's go with
Right.
that.
But then she goes, the girl survived her injuries,
Yeah.
right? So she can't be a ghost, right?
Mm.
It turned out that she had had an affair, and the guy, her ex, ran into the house whilst they was having a house party and stabbed the guy she had the affair with, his sister, and his ex. No, yeah, his ex.
But wouldn't he have
The
known
guy
that there was a party next door? He said the neighbour opened the window, but he didn't mention them having a party. Like, surely you would be able to know that there was a
No,
party going on.
so I'm guessing this is before they moved in.
Right.
So the guy and the girl survived, but the sister was killed in the bedroom of the house.
Great.
So so it says, when I googled the incident, it came up with an article of the guy getting sentenced. And, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
It then said that, and I'm not going to insert his name, had been sentenced for murder, the murder of a black female, 33, called Melanie. When I read it, I just thought back of the Ouija board, and it freaked me the fuck out.
Lol.
So yeah. Now, the reason why I picked that is it's not necessarily the scariest story, but there's certainly, it's not like too over the top.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's get a little bit melodramatic toward the end, but it's not that over the top.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't too bad, but still, I reckon it's bullshit.
Yeah, probably.
I love how I believe in all this shit, but I always say it's bullshit.
you debunk it more than anybody, right?
Yeah.
But like, but yeah, it's just I just like the language that was used, and like a lot of the. Do you know, like a lot of the things when we watch horror films and stuff, and we're like, well, what about this? What about that?
Mm.
You don't do this. You don't do that. I feel like a lot of that was like, it seemed true. Do you know what I mean? Like, how many times do we, like, when we're playing a video game, have YouTube on also in the background? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, and that could quite easily just be someone going into too much detail. I don't,
When you think about it, like, we always, like, not just me and you, but people in general, judge horror movies. And we always go, oh, well, that's just stupid, you would never do that. But if you were actually in those situations yourself, most of the time you would. Maybe not the obvious ones, like walking down into the basement. You wouldn't do that. But, like, shit like, oh, they heard a noise, well, I'd just call the police. Well, you wouldn't. You'd sit there shitting yourself, thinking all the worst possible outcomes, and then you'd just try and ignore it and put YouTube on or something like he did. And you'd just try and get on with it.
Or like a generic thing, like hide under the bed, but like you'd be like, I'm in my room, or like you'd hide in the toilet, and you just, it sounds like real cliche, but that's probably.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if I heard a noise, unless I had 100% certainty that somebody was there, I don't think I'd call the police.
No. You sit there shitting yourself, thinking all the worst.
You don't want to call the police just for it to be, like...
Nothing.
I don't know, a window's been left open and a draft has knocked something off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Unless I hear footsteps or a voice, or I look and I see something, I'm probably not calling the police. I would sit there shitting myself, thinking that there's a fucking murderer down there or a demon or some shit.
Literally.
Do you know what I mean?
No, you would exactly 100% that. Like, you would just sit there.
And that's why I kind of liked what he said. Like when he heard a knocking, and he looked like, in my head, the first thing I'd do was like, what the fuck was that? And then like look for something in my room. Do you know what I mean?
His weapon, yeah.
Yeah, and then he said about how, if I remember rightly, like someone was at the window or something, like his neighbour opened something up.
Yeah.
And it made him comfort a little bit, and I was like, actually, that would give me comfort if I felt someone was downstairs, but if I also knew that my neighbours were awake for some bizarre reason, it'd make me think, okay, well, at least they're awake.
At least if I get stabbed, they can call the police when they hear me screaming. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still going to die,
Yeah.
but at least somebody will know about it.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Jeez.
I don't know. It's certainly not necessarily. It's not a bad story as such, but
Mm.
it's just really difficult. The ones that like I was reading one that actually was like seemed pretty good, and then it started getting like weird, like just like he'd hear like knocking, and then like he'd look out and his attic, like the ladders to his attic would be open and stuff like that. And I thought like
Mm.
I was like, oh, I'm not so sure about this. Like
Yeah.
I struggle to open a fucking attic and to bring the ladders down. Do you know what I mean? Me, a fucking human, struggles to do that.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? So like, I don't know, but yeah, I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't bad by any means. Um, and it's not in line with the other stuff we've done either, which I like in a way, because I don't want everything to be along the same sort of lines. Like
Yeah,
that had a
I think
different
we've done
feel
that pretty
to it.
good. Like we did the first one, which was the demon
Yeah.
possessing Annalise Michelle.
Mm.
Then we did the Bones one, Carriage of Bones,
Yeah.
which is more of like a mythical, I should imagine, in my, kind of like a folk tale. And then
Yeah.
this one, a contemporary take of things. But I don't know, like uh, what I didn't necessarily understand was how can like and maybe like it'd be really good if this became big or whatever and we could interview people, but like if a ghost gets murdered, so in
Mm.
my mind, from what I've understand, like a human has to basically have their life taken from them,
Right.
either as like a murder, anything in an unnatural way, right?
Mm.
For them to haunt, like in my
I would
mind.
disagree with that. Like, fair enough, that's your opinion, but for me, it's like if you've got any sort of unfinished business, not necessarily murder, just any unfinished business,
But that, yeah,
you're
yeah, so that's
condemned.
kind of like that's kind of what I mean. So like, but usually like when you die of old age, usually you've kind of in your life you've come to terms with that shit. So you've
Yeah.
kind of like for the large majority of people, they're kind of like, I'm not going to care about this thing.
Mm.
But like if you've got loads of unfinished business, like whatever that is, and you get stabbed to death, like you have no time. I feel like when you're dying of old age, you've got time to think about that shit and just come to terms with it in terms of your soul.
Okay,
But
yeah, I
you know
get
what I
that.
mean?
Yeah, I get what
Um,
you mean. See, for me,
um,
I see, because I believe I see ghosts. Whether I'm just mentally handicapped or I genuinely do is another thing. But I believe I see ghosts, and for me, I reckon that they're trapped in some sort of purgatory. Now, I don't believe in heaven or hell. I don't believe in God or anything like that. But I do believe there's an afterlife, and I do believe that ghosts are stuck in some kind of purgatory.
so, a question for you then. So, if you don't believe in God
Mm.
and you don't believe in the Bible and the stories of that religion or
Yeah,
any religion, how is the afterlife then a thing?
because it doesn't
Maybe
have
that's like seems like
to.
a weird question, but
Because it doesn't have to be linked to religion. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I think the afterlife is, but I just think there is something there. You know, I don't envision pearly white gates and fucking Saint Peter and God and not all that. I just think there is something. Like, not sure what, but I believe there's something afterlife. And it could be fucking miserable, like, you know, we could all be sat scratching our asses in a fucking black void, you know. But I believe there's something after life. But again, like, I don't believe that has to be linked to religion or anything like that. Like, one doesn't necessarily relate to the other, if that makes sense.
It's also like you hear a lot of those stories where like they something happens, like they have like a heart attack or they get like ran over or something.
Yeah.
Some kind of like instant boom, and you hear these stories of them seeing God or
Like
that
a
kind
near-death
of
experience.
spiritual thing. And like the amount of times that like people have similar stories, to the point where it kind of freaks me out how similar these stories are, of like almost like an out of body, like they see themselves, and then like basically towards the end of this spiritual thing, something turns around, and it's not God speaking to them; it's like their own head saying, "Are you ready to move on?" And if these people who answer no, then go back into their bodies and kind of like wake back up again, and it's kind of like if you've been run over, you haven't died, or if you've had a heart attack, you managed to get resuscitated or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an interesting thing that of I am ready to move on. Like, does that mean is that it then? Do you die? And for those people that go, no, I'm not ready, and they come back to the planet, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, but it's just creepy when I hear so many people talking about that. It's like almost like so many people are talking about it that there's no smoke without fire. You know what I mean?
But then have they heard stories themselves and then kind of envisioned that or wanted to envision that? So then it's like a placebo effect. So if they maybe heard those stories and then wanted that for themselves, so they've willed it into existence, type of thing.
I was reading a thing. So do you know like when people are like ill, terminally ill, and they come to the last thing, and it's very weird how usually what happens is usually they're ill and they're getting worse and worse, and then a day or two before they die, they seemingly seem a little better. And it's happened with everyone who's died who I know. It's happened with them. So like my granddad, a day or two before he died, he died of cancer, but he seemed to not get better, but he seemed to have more energy and more kind of
Be himself.
I don't know. Yeah. And another person, my auntie who died of cancer as well, a different kind, same thing happened. The day before, she couldn't move out of her bed. She was tired. And then the day before she died, she was able to she sat up and she was able to drink herself, and she went to the toilet by herself. Weird things like that, and then died the next day.
Yeah.
And this seems to be a pattern that happens with a lot of people, right? So I thought it was a weird thing, and then I was watching a YouTube video and there was interviewing somebody, and they were saying, "Oh, have you noticed how this happens?" And I was like, "Oh shit, it hasn't. It's not just something that I've noticed, right?" And they said that it's about basically once the decision has been made that this person is going to die, that this person is ready to die in the next, day or two, is that soul gets like like an energy sent to it,
Right.
almost so that it's got enough energy to go up into heaven, so that they send it the energy. And what that means is obviously as a result that person seems to have more energy and seems to have the I'm feeling better, even though they're dying, And I was like, it sounds so far-fetched, but if there is such a thing as an afterlife, that when you die there is something like that, then surely nothing's far-fetched. Do you know what I mean? If that is true, it's
I get what you mean.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. like there's some questions out there that are unanswerable, unexplainable, because and I know you're fairly similar. Like we think in a very scientific way. Like, well, that's just not that would never happen, right?
Yeah.
Because we think science has never proven that to happen. But there's certain things in there where I go, that is just unexplainable.
Mm.
And the only way to explain it is if there is a divine thing looking, or a creator. And this isn't me pitching Christianity or whatever. This is me going, there is questions out there where you go, what? Like, what?
Mm.
Like, the only way to explain it is that there's something out of world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I get you, but I just don't believe that there's anybody up there or any. I don't know. It's a difficult topic, but it's a weird one as well because like my nana was Christian, but I just haven't been raised that way. Like my mum and dad aren't, and I don't know.
Well, I had this discussion because I was talking about it with one of my mates who is Christian, really hardcore Christian, and we was talking about it, and he said, you know, oh, you shouldn't ever question God. And I was
Why?
like, well,
Isn't God supposed to be all forgiving? So why can't I question?
Yeah, I mean, first of all that, but also my point was, if God created everybody and everything and created every part of our body,
then He's created our questioning.
Yeah, I was like, he's created a brain that makes you question things, and his answer was, God created almost everything that we see, but he said, but also
almost
the devil also has done things, and you're caught in kind of, and he actually made a weird point that. He said he made a weird point, and it actually made me think, oh god, that's a cool story idea. That actually purgatory, for those people who don't know, is when you basically die. Purgatory is almost like a waiting room, right? Of where you're going to go. Are you going to go to heaven? Are you going to go to hell?
Yeah.
He said that your life on planet Earth is purgatory. Like that is the meaning of life. Of you are actually to see whether you're having eternal. Like heaven or going to hell, you're in purgatory, and purgatory is for some people 10 years and for other people 110 years. And I was like, that's an interesting kind of, and then I was like, well, then there's no point to this stuff. I was
Literally.
like, well, I mean, we could talk about this for hours, like basically, now we're getting into what is the meaning of life and shit like that.
Yeah.
Now we're actually all real. But I thought it was an interesting thing. But also, so this guy can at times be batshit crazy with some of the stuff he says. So you know.
Yeah. Most of them are.
Yeah. Anyway.
Not to be offensive to any of you, if any of you are watching this, but most of you are batshit crazy, and that is my opinion, and I am entitled to it. So.
And I claim no negative energy from
from you people. Or your religion, or any of the demons involved in the making of this video. Hail Satan!
Oh my god. No. I'm done now. I'm done, that's it.
Fuck God.
I'm making... Wow, well...
And I wish you a very happy Hanukkah.
I completely disagree. No, happy Hanukkah. Yeah, people can have happy Hanukkahs, I don't mind about that.
Well, there you go. I did a nice thing in there.
You just... Right.
What, you don't hail Satan? No,
I don't.
Off? Oh, why are you signing off?
Of the video.
Oh, right. Right.
Not like I'm setting up with life.
Good. I'll set up the fucking thingy page. GoFundMe page.
Jesus.
That is an ongoing joke. Inside joke, guys. Don't actually think I want him. Well, I do want him dead. That's besides the point.
Now getting into another fucking argument. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you do happen to have any recommendations or whatever, then
let us know. And hopefully, hopefully it won't be another 10 months before a new episode of Brainless Believers.
Yeah, it's going to be 11.
yeah, we're just going to steadily increase it. After that, it'll be 10 years, and none of you will even know what the series is.
No.
But
YouTube
yeah,
won't even be a thing.
no, well, it'll be TickTube or some shit like that. Oh, good hell. Oh, but anyway, guys, yeah, that has been another episode of Brainless Believers. And on a serious note, we will try and get more episodes of this out, and we will try and, you know, get it on a frequent thing. We were trying to do it where it would be an upload every Saturday, but then I stopped scheduling things. Adam wasn't looking for ideas, and it's just a whole thing. So, but yeah, we're going to try and get more out. And I'm doing my usual thing of rambling at the end of the video, and I'm also trying to mow this damn lawn. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and the riveting gameplay behind it. And yeah, we just wish you all a happy Hail Satan Day, and good luck in your endeavors, guys. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below, and we will see all you guys in the next Brainless Believers. Bye bye.